Hello, here in this video, we will show you Programa's brand new user interface, an interface that delivers a unique and intuitive experience. Programa is a software tool that allows you to quickly learn how to program computers and mobile devices. It combines an easy-to-use programming environment with a powerful programming language. It enables you to not only learn basic programming concepts, but to continue advancing your skills. Let's see how Programa works. To make programming a fun and rewarding experience, we have created a fundamentally new user interface. Users communicate with computers using code objects. Code objects are fully functional blocks, which when placed inside the code, execute immediately, providing instant feedback on what your code is doing at any given time. Code objects are simple, dynamic templates that allow you to easily write a program without having to learn the syntax of the underlying programming language. We have introduced various types of code objects to create an easy-to-use and yet powerful programming environment. The first class of objects consists of the main program, as well as function code objects that are created by users to define their own programs and functions. The second class consists of computing expressions, data types such as arrays and structures, and standard functions. These capabilities give you access to a rich set of tools so you can build complex software products. The third class consists of conditional code objects that allow you to make decisions and control the execution flow of your program. Finally, we have a class of repeat code objects that allow you to go through a set of operations multiple times. Let's see now what else you can do with Programa. Programa has built-in advanced functions that allow you to easily access and analyze large amounts of data. Data is automatically read into structures that are easily accessible by your program. We have also implemented advanced visualization functions so you can easily illustrate the results of your program. Graphics functions allow you to create games, illustrations, and 3D objects, which you can print using 3D printers. Next, let's see why Programa is the easiest way to learn how to program computers. To illustrate this, we asked a group of experienced programmers to code the same program using 4 different languages: block-based languages, Programa, C++, and Java. The program was to find the best and worst teams for an unknown number of entries stored in a file, as well as the rank of a specific team. Let's see the code that was generated for each of those cases. First, you cannot even code this program using Scratch or other block-based languages because of their limited capabilities. Compared to both C++ and Java, Programa is much more compact and easier to understand. In terms of lines of code, other languages took over twice as many lines of code as the number of code objects required in Programa. The difference in time spent was even more remarkable. Other languages took almost 6 times longer to write and debug the code relative to Programa. This has profound implications for anybody engaging in computer programming. New users will experience gratification when seeing their programs work quickly and with very little effort. Also, experienced users and corporations will be able to enjoy tremendous savings in terms of time and cost for software development with our professional versions that will be coming out in subsequent releases. Let's see how easy it is to write a program using Programa. Let's write a program that computes the maximum, minimum, and average of a list of numbers. Here, we have the main function that will describe our program. First, let's define our list of numbers. For this, we make a function call and specify the word array. The predefined array function shows up with the entries. We fill up the array with numbers, and we name it numbers. Next, let's define a function that will compute the maximum, minimum, and average numbers. For this, we hit the function definition button. We specify the name of the function, the inputs of the function, as well as the outputs. Now, we define a variable that will hold the minimum value and initialize it with the highest number, which is infinity. Next, we define the maximum variable and initialize it to the smallest number, which is negative infinity. We then set the average variable to 0. Our next step is to calculate the size of the list of numbers to create a loop that will go through all the numbers in the array. For this, we call the standard function length of. Programa automatically recognizes that we have called a standard function, and it gives us the inputs of the function with the explanation of what they are. We give n as the return name of the function, which will hold the number of elements in our array. In order to go through the list of numbers, we call the for repeat function. We define an index I that will go through each of the elements in the array. We initialize to 0 to start with the first element of the array. We stop the repeat loop when we reach the end of the array, and we increase our index I at each iteration of our loop by 1. Now, we need to check whether each element of the array is bigger or smaller than the maximum and minimum numbers. For this, we will need to use the if code object. The if operator executes the code enclosed in the code object only if the condition evaluates to be true. Here, we check if the number in the array with index I is greater than the current maximum number. If this is true, we execute an assignment operator that replaces the current maximum number with the number in the array with index I. If the condition is not true, the value of the maximum number will remain unaffected. We perform exactly the same operation for the minimum number, but in this case, we check if the number in the array with index I is less than the minimum number. Also, every time we encounter a new number, we add it to the average variable, so we can calculate the average number at the end. Once the loop is completed, we calculate the average number, which is current average value divided by n, which is the number of elements in the array. Now, our function is defined. Let's go ahead and close the function. Let's go back to our main program and call this new function. We make a function call and specify min-max-save. The function shows up automatically with the predefined inputs and outputs. We give the function the name of array as our input, as well as the variables that will hold the results. As you can see, the program computes automatically, and the variable values are shown in the variable list window. As our last step, we would like to show our results in a user-friendly format. For this, we make another function call and specify the function show. We fill the values with the text that we want to display, the variables we want to show, and hit run. You now can see the results of the program in the display window. Now, let's see how you use Programa to easily analyze and graph complex data. Here we have a file that contains NCAA basketball rankings that was taken from the web. You can use the built-in Read and Analyze Data from File function to read the data from a file and create a structured variable that contains the data. You can also see in the Variables window, a structure containing all data has already been created. Now, we call a for loop to read and create the list of data we want to display. We double-click the variable we want to plot, and the graph pops up instantly. We can also add graphs and superimpose them on previous ones. We can easily visualize mathematical functions to better understand what they do. Here, we create again a for loop to calculate the logarithmic function, the cosine function multiplied by the logarithmic function, and the sine function divided by its index. Again, we double-click on the variable and select plot. The plot is shown on the display window. As before, you can superimpose multiple graphs in top of each other to compare the mathematic functions and better understand what they do. Thank you for watching this video.